table, Michael McGee.
Alexander, third reporter for the defendant who is present in custody.
Your name, sir, for the record? Michael McGee.
Well, we were the only the camera in the courtroom that was filled with the press from all across the country, Jake. And let me tell you, I mean, Michael McGee was very quiet. The only thing that he answers was confirming his name to the judge that, yes, he was, in fact, Michael McGee. But other than that, he had almost a stoic look, and at times when he first walked in, maybe a little bit angry at times.
Supposedly, Dr. Michael McGee got arrested at Chick-fil-A. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm going to tell you how that went down. Plus, a little bit about his past, the lawsuit that's going on in Nevada with a Nevada inmate against him. I'm going to explain to you guys what that's about. And just stay tuned. Fugitive TV. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel, where we take a look at cases and we take a look at it from a different perspective, a fugitive perspective, or maybe a criminal perspective, because I was once a criminal and a fugitive on the run from the law. I did it for 15 years and I did it under different names. I was living in different countries, different cities and states. Yeah, my story's extreme. Well, I don't have to deal with that anymore. I ended up turning myself in a few years ago, and life is great for me now. And now what I'm doing is helping other people out. I'm helping other people with unsolved mysteries, cases, missing people, and I love it because I can give you guys and other people that reach out to me maybe a different perspective, an advantage, an angle, or maybe even a detail that other people aren't seeing, all right? Well, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe and share. If you're returning, thank you. You've helped my channel blow up. My channel's been one of the fastest growing channels in this true crime genre since I started, okay? I mean, it's been unbelievable. Thank you so much, and I'm not going to stop. Well, we're going to take a look at Monique Tepe and Spencer Tepe back at their case. Now, yes, we did do a couple videos. I did do a live on this. I think it was Saturday. I can't remember. I think it was Saturday when right after Michael McGee or McKee got arrested. Well, right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how he got arrested, where, and some of the things I said in some of my other videos could be coming to light. And you'll see. But the other theory would be the ex-husband. I saw people talking about the ex-husband, but they never mentioned any names. So I had to go find it and everything else. And this is what we came up with. All right, so let's take a look at MC. That's what I'm calling him. MC, who is Monique's ex-husband, her first husband. So here is a wedding photo of them together. Well, you guys know from the start, if you've been following this channel, you guys know I said Michael McGee was the #1 suspect. He was the prime suspect. Some people were talking about the brother-in-law. I never knew. I was like, the brother-in-law, what did the brother-in-law have to gain? What do you have to gain? Some YouTube views from the wedding? No, that didn't make no sense. And then some people were like, it was the dentist's office. It was the owner that, and I was like, that didn't make sense either. What does he have to gain? There's no money involved with this. It just didn't make sense. And I was like, why would he do something to the dentist and risk his whole practice? Now I know people are dumb. People are dumb every day, right? But I just didn't see a paper trail. There was no motive. As soon as I found out Monique had an ex, soon as I found out, that's all I had to hear. That's all I had to hear. But no, I actually started doing digging and did background. And you guys saw what I did. I put the paperwork on him. I did the divorce paperwork. I did all that on him, right? And from the start, I was like, this guy has a motive. It just made no sense. And then the kids were left unharmed. So it just made sense, right? Well, as you know, he's been arrested. He got arrested, right? Now, supposedly, he was arrested at a Chick-fil-A. I don't know if this is true or not, but supposedly he was arrested at a Chick-fil-A.
On behalf of Mr. McKee, I will assert his right to counsel. I will assert his right to remain silent. And Mr. McGee believes that the most expeditious manner in which he may defend himself against the charges pending in Ohio.
He went to work. Now, he was arrested in Rockford, Illinois, but he doesn't live in Rockford, Illinois. That's where he works. He lives in Lincoln Park, Chicago. I'm not familiar of how far of a drive that is. So for you people that live out there in Chicago or Rockford or wherever around that is, are familiar with that drive, let me know how far that is. So supposedly he was making his commute, which is like an hour and a half or 2 hours away every day for work. And where he lived, Lincoln, nice. I'm going to show you guys. It was nice. Let's take a look at how he was living. So this was his place. Okay. This is not the exact apartment, but this was where he was living at. The address that's on the arrest affidavit. All right. So as you see, this unit right here is for sale for $350K, 1,200 square feet, only a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but it's a luxury area of where he was living at. So you could see, even though at first they say that he was broke, wasn't doing too good, it looks like his career started paying off in the long run. And here is a street view, as you can see. Very nice luxury area of Chicago.
Now, we do know that there's a status hearing at 2 p.m. Monday. That's next Monday. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions, though. For example, was he still practicing at this moment in time? We do know that he first got his license from the national provider, or at least got a national provider number in 2014. And then, of course, he had married Monique in 2015. And they did get a divorce about 2 years later. So I also looked up his national provider number using a federal database, and it showed that he was a Ohio student in some type of organized healthcare education or a training program. And then at some point he had a provider number to practice in California, a secondary practice in Las Vegas, and his primary was here in Rockford.
So that's where he was living. So he was making a decent amount of money. He was doing all right for himself, right? I just wondering why he was working way down in Rockford. Well, I told you guys earlier, supposedly he got arrested at Chick-fil-A. Now, through the rumor mill, supposedly the police followed him from work and then arrested him, down the street at that place. Like I said, I don't know if that's true or not. We're going to have to wait to find out. But that's what's going down the rumorville right now, right? Which, even if they didn't arrest him at Chick-fil-A, I believe the following part. I'm going to tell you why I believe the following part. Do you remember my other video about this? And I told you when they showed us that video of supposedly him walking through the back alley, one of the things I said in that video, I said I would not be surprised. Okay? Because I always believed that law enforcement had more video. They had more evidence. I always believed that. And they were just showing us this little crack. And I said I would not be shocked if they leaked this little crack to the media. So the media can blast all over TV on purpose to make the suspect think, oh, they don't know who I am. They're still looking for me. Oh, yeah, they don't know who I am. They're looking for me. I'm going to keep living my life. I'm not going to make no sudden moves. I'm not buying no airplane tickets. I'm not dipping out to Bali. I'm not trying to go to no country where there's no extradition, you know? So when I saw that video, I told you guys, I said, for some reason, I think they're doing this on purpose. I wouldn't even be shocked if that was not him walking down the alley. That was just somebody else. I would not be shocked at that. Now, I'm not saying it's not him or it is him, but I wouldn't be shocked if they gave us some video of somebody else walking down the alley just to throw him off. Now, I think they've been keeping an eye on him almost from the start. The family of Monique came out and said, as soon as this happened, as soon as it happened, they said it was him. The family of Monique said it was him. Now I'm going to tell you why they said that, okay? But first, I'm going to tell you how they probably followed him. I've said this in a couple of my other videos. I know you guys watch the movies, and in the movies, the person will um jump in the car and the cop is right behind them, following them the whole time. Doesn't happen that way, really, right? They'll do these 3 cartels, sometimes 4 cartels, it just all depends. What I mean by that is, say if they're watching him at work, supposedly they were watching him at work. And if he's at a medical center, I'm pretty sure the medical center has a big parking lot, right? Or multiple cars. So it's easier for, let's say, investigators to sit in one of the cars and watch the entrance he comes out. A lot of times they'll enter through the back. So it doesn't take nothing for an investigator to sit in the car and watch him enter, leave. Now, when he leaves, that investigator sitting in that car might not take off right away behind him. It's going to make it look suspicious. This thing, I just took off, this car took off too, and he's found. No. What that car will a lot of times will do is call to another car that's maybe in the front parking lot or maybe right a tad across the street or something and say, hey, he's getting in his car. His car is a such and such, and he's leaving right now. And then the second car is gonna say, okay, got it. And as soon as he pulls out the parking lot, here comes that second car. McGee is not paying attention. He doesn't realize that the second tail's following him. And they're going to probably follow him for a couple streets, and then he's going to turn or something, and then they're going to radio into a third car, and that third car is going to be ahead of him. And then when he passes the third car, now the third car takes over. That's a lot of times how this stuff works, okay? Don't ask me how I know, but I know. But I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, and that was how he got arrested, right? Well, he got arrested, and he's in jail right now, and he had his first court appearance today, okay? His first court appearance, and it was nothing. They just read his rights. Now, they did upgrade his charges, and I'm going to tell you why they upgraded his charges, okay? They did upgrade the charges. But he's facing extradition. He waived his right to extradition. If you guys don't know what extradition is, I had to go through that when I turned myself in. I went through extradition. I'm here in Florida. I turned myself here into Florida, and I had to get extradited out to Colorado for my original charges. Well, I'm going to show you guys right now what the extradition is. And for anybody who's curious, here is the waiver that he signed. I had to sign this exact same form. Once you sign this, well, first of all, for anybody who's watching this video and they don't know, if you have a warrant from a different state and then you get arrested, let's say, for example, you maybe have a warrant in Texas, but you get arrested in New York, right? Well, what happens is New York will take you to jail, put you in a facility, lock you up. And then you have the right to either waive extradition or to fight it. Meaning you could fight extradition, meaning you could fight Texas from coming to pick you up. Now, a lot of times you're not going to win this fight. It's not a fight you're going to beat. A lot of times you have to prove you didn't do it or you're not that person looking for it, just things like that. So it's easier just to waive it and then have them pick you up and then go back to Texas. Now, once you waive it, these states do have a certain length of time to come get you. So I believe it's like 30 days before they can get you. Or I'm sorry, 30 days they have to get you. Now, just because it's 30 days does not mean that the 30th day you're out. It doesn't work that way. They can even file an extension. They can file, I believe it's like 2 extensions. So you could be waiting up to 90 days before they come get you. Now, I highly doubt this is going to happen for him because this is such a big case and his charges are on. They're probably going to pick him up ASAP. And they're probably going to get him by plane. They're probably not going to waste their time with a bus. I was driven from Florida all the way to Colorado pretty much on a Ford Transit bus. So it was like a 3-day trip for me and a few other people who were in there. But he's probably gonna get taken by plane when he goes, just because they don't want to waste no time. Now, like I said, they do give you 30 days. Now, if you on the court date, um, the court that happened today, actually, the judge did say he's setting another court date for Monday. Because what happens is by law, now Mike has to go to court in Illinois every week until he's released. And the reason why he's going to court every week is pretty much so the judge can see, oh, he hasn't been picked up yet. Oh, he hasn't been picked up yet. Now, if they don't hear anything from Ohio, after 30 days and then Mike goes to court, then the judge has to make a decision. You know, I can let you go, or I believe he can even contact Ohio. I'm not sure after that part. I'm really not. I do know when I did mine and I waived my rights, I remember they didn't pick me up until I want to say the 29th day. So when the 29th day came around, I was like, wow, they might not come get me. Whoa. And the funny thing is, because I was on the run, I was on the run 15 years. So I was gone for so long that in the courtroom they have like an extradition lawyer and somebody who's like specialized in that. The specialist even told me, he goes, you know what? Colorado might not get you because you've been gone for so long, your crimes weren't violent, things like that. So they might not even waste their time and the money and resources to come get you. Now, if they don't get you, you still are going to have a warrant in Colorado. You're still going to have a warrant there, you know. And I remember them telling me that. So I remember I think it was like, yeah, 28th or 29th day. I can't remember. I just remember it was approaching right there. And I was like, well, these people might not come get me. What? But I highly doubt that's going to happen with Michael. Highly doubt it.
And to plead not guilty would be to waive his right to an extradition hearing and to have a governor's warrant and to agree to his immediate transportation to Ohio.
Understood. Thank you.
So now that you guys know, about the extradition and what it is. So they got a certain amount of time to pick him up. And don't worry, they're going to pick him up. He's a big case. His charges, they're going to pick him up. Now, I did say that upped his charges. Now, his original charges were just the M charge, unaliving of both of them. That was it. Now they upgraded it to premeditated M charge, unaliving, murder, red rum, or whatever you want to call it. They upgraded that. Why did they upgrade that? There's a difference in the state of Ohio between the regular M and premeditated M. You know what that difference is? The D penalty. Okay? The D penalty. Regular M charge, you're looking at 15 years to life. Premeditated, life to the D penalty. Okay? So I believe they're going to be going for the penalty at him. Now, in the state of Ohio, it is on pause right now because they're trying to figure out, they're saying the way it was done last time it was done was very cruel. I mean, they doing it anyway. Just doesn't, to me, it shouldn't even matter how you're doing it if you're doing it, cruel or not. But that's just me. But because when these people unalive these victims, think about it. When they unalive these victims, are they talking about, oh, this is cruel, I'm not going to do this to them, I'm going to do it so they can go out quick? No, they're not. They doing what they got to do. So just let them. That's just my opinion, though. But it is on pause right now. But that does not mean that he can't be sentenced to it and sit on death row for a few years, okay? Or sometimes decades until it happens. Depends on how much you appeal and things like that. I met a couple people on death row when I was locked up myself. One guy was on death row. He was on death row 23 years, 24 years. He was on death row a long time, going through appeal and appeal, pretty much just holding it out. The sad part about it was the guy was 65 years old. He only got that much time to live anyway. One more appeal, he's just going to pass away in the cell. So he's not probably not even get to see the chair. But that's what happens a lot of times, okay? Inside of there, if you don't know. Well, I'm pretty sure they're going to file for that and go for that.
Spencer had multiple gunshot wounds, and Monique had at least one wound to the chest. That there were no obvious signs of forced entry, no firearm was found on the scene, and then again, that surveillance video, as well as detectives linked Mckee to a vehicle that arrived just before the murders. These facts, I think, help build that circumstantial case, although the two can be used, I think, by the defense, Josh, as two differences between the things, perhaps meaning two.
Now, some people are wondering, like, why he waited so long to do this. Why he waited so long, all right? One of my last videos, okay? I broke down what a criminal would do when they try and invade your house, what they would look for. And I showed you guys all that. I took you guys to Zoom, or I'm sorry, not Zoom, Zillow. And I showed you on their house on Zillow, it shows their security system in the Zillow pictures. And as a criminal, if you break into somebody's house, that's what you will look for. Do they have a security system? That's the first thing you'll look. And it's right there in Zillow. I showed you the wedding video because I looked at the wedding video, the whole video, because the wedding video is at their house, at the home. So all you got to do is watch the wedding video. And if you really pay close attention, you see there was extra security added inside of the home because it's right there in the wedding video. You just have to really pay attention and you see it in little small clips. Okay. And not only that, they're in the front of the house, the back of the house, they're everywhere. So you get the whole layout of the house just by watching the video. Okay. So I believed Michael watched this video plenty of times. I believe he looked at their house on Zillow plenty of times. Their address on Google Trends spiked in October, okay? And November. So I believe that's what he was doing. Now, word is, I don't know if this is true, but people are wondering how he got in the house. One report I saw said he picked the lock. I don't know how accurate that is. I don't know if it's true. They had a keypad in the front and a keypad in the back. So I don't know if he did pick the lock. And even if he did pick the lock, if the alarm was set, the alarm would go off. Now, in that same report, they are saying that they had internet issues, which is funny because in my last videos, I told you guys about the internet and security. Remember, I told you. I said the security sometimes runs off the internet. Remember, I said that? So if they were having internet issues, they probably could have been having security issues. But would Michael know that? Or did Michael do something for them to have internet issues? Makes you wonder, don't it? Bet you never thought about that one. In all these home security systems, I got one myself. I think I got almost the same security system they got, but it runs off the internet. And if you know what you're doing, you could bypass the stuff. If you know what you're doing. I ain't gonna tell you, but you can. But if they were having internet issues, I wouldn't be shocked if he did something to the internet so them to have issues. You can. Well, that supposedly is how he got in the house. Now, I don't know if that's true. Like I said, I do not know. I don't know. That's just a report. All the reports I'm reading on this stuff, I figure I'd tell you guys just to let you guys make your decision, just to see if this is it. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if some sort of way they opened a door to him and he put the weapon to their face and that's what happened. Now, we do know there was three shell casings found from a 9mm. Supposedly, Spence was hit multiple times, and then Monique was hit once in the chest. There's another report now saying that he was hit 5 times. So I don't know. We're not going to know all these facts until he actually gets arraigned. When he goes to arraignment, when he finally gets extradited back to Ohio and they do an arraignment, then they're going to put a little bit, not going to put all of it, but then we're going to get a little more details of what happened. All right. A little more. Now, supposedly he was caught from video cameras getting into his car, right? He got into his car or a car registered him the guy is so smart. He is a vascular surgeon, but uses a car that's under his name. But you know what? Just because you're smart book-wise doesn't mean you're smart at doing other things like criminal activity. A lot of criminals are smart doing criminal activity, but they can't tell you what 2 + 2 is. Just the way life works sometimes. You've heard of street smarts and book smarts. There's a such thing. Some people don't have them both. This post is supposedly from one of Michael's family members. And he says, I would like to ask for prayers. Michael is actually a family member. My heart stopped when I read this. When we were growing up, I was always amazed by his kindness and how gifted he was in sports and academics. This is totally out of character for him. All the parties definitely need our prayers. Such a sad situation. It makes me sad to think of what kind of headspace he was in when he did this. My heart goes out to him. It is definitely a dark world out there. And right now, one of us could be victim in the dark side. So please stick close to God and a few people can trust. Keep moving forward towards the light. So some people got on his post and got mad because of course he's saying please pray for Michael, right? Um so you have one person right here saying he threatened her life while they were married. Put a pillow over her face while she was asleep. Told her if she ever left him, he would unalive her. She told her friends if anything ever happened to her, if she was ever unalive, to tell the police to look at her ex. So prayer for the victims and their families. So then he responded back with, or I should say, I'm sorry. This other person responded with, their showings were also today. So really feels in poor taste to be asking for prayers for the person who took the lives of two innocent parents. Your cousin is a narcissistic psychopath who left two babies parentless. So I told you guys about the lawsuit out of Nevada. So I have the official documents and papers, but in order to show them to you guys, there's so much I have to blur out and black out. So instead, I actually found this short summary from True Crime Mama on her Facebook page. So I'm giving her credit because she actually summarized it, which makes it easier to read to you guys. And not only that, I don't have to go through line for line, blocking and blacking things out. What she put was summary of the federal lawsuit allegations involving Dr. Michael McGee. Now, so I'm going to break this down even further for you guys, so that way it makes it easy to understand. So this was filed by a Nevada prison inmate, okay? And it's filed against multiple medical providers and officials. One is including Mike McGee or Dr. McGee, whatever you want to call him now. So the lawsuit claims that um, the inmate, who was the plaintiff, suffered a work-related injury while incarcerated in January 2018, which caused pain and swelling in the left testicle. Okay, so he had pain and swelling left testicle from a work-related injury that he was performing while he was in prison. So they diagnosed him, and the diagnosis they said was treatable. It was a treatable medical condition that involved fluid buildup. So after a medical review panel, which on the panel included Dr. Michael McGee, along with several other physicians, basically said they could control and and improve and said they can help the inmate. So they approved for him to be operated on, and I guess gave him treatment decisions. So this is where the inmate is saying they failed at. All right. So he's saying the panel approved a surgeon who allegedly lacked experience in properly performing the procedure. So if this happened in, what was this, 2018, I mean, it could be correct because while Michael McGee was with Monique, he was actually still in school. So I can see where that's coming from. Um Now he goes on to say the rest of it is the inmate underwent multiple procedures over more than a year where fluid was repeatedly drained instead of a proper corrective surgery. So instead of giving him what was should have been done, they just kept draining the fluid every time. And it said it went on for more than a year. Okay. Now, despite continued pain, swelling, and the symptoms are getting worse, the treatment was delayed for months. Oh man, that had to hurt. I can only imagine. That's making me hurt right now. So, a different urologist finally evaluated the inmate. He discovered severe infection of the necrotic tissue. So, this was the outcome that happened after all that. So, after all of that, because they didn't do the procedure the correct way, the inmate ended up losing his left testicle. They actually had to remove it. So he no longer has that anymore because of the procedure was not done the correct way. So that's pretty much what all this is about. Um Now I don't know if that's going to be enough for him to go off the edge and do what he did. I mean, you never know. A lot of people didn't realize that he would hold a grudge for this long, right? So, I mean, you don't know. On Michael and his past, all right? When Michael was with Monique, now remember they all three went to Ohio State, okay? A lot of people are wondering, like, why did he do this? I don't know why he did it. I can't sit here and tell you why. But what I can tell you is I can try and think maybe the pressure he had, I guess, if you can say that. Follow me for a second. First of all, Michael was adopted. Now, I'm not saying nothing's wrong with adopted kids or adopted people, but I'm not saying that, right? But he was adopted. So he probably already felt abandonment. Think about it. He was adopted. He probably felt that he was abandoned by his parents. A lot of adopted kids feel that way. So he goes to school. He exceeds at sports. He plays football. He plays basketball at a top-notch level that he can get scholarships and awards. He's very smart, that he gets all these academic achievements and things like that. Ends up going to Ohio State. Now, for you people that don't know about college football, Ohio State is top 10 almost every year, probably since your grandmama was born, in playing football. That's how good Ohio State is. You can't be no Rudy Poo on Ohio State football team. I don't care if you're the last man on the bench. You still got some sort of talent just to make it to that team, okay? Trash or not, I don't care what you say about the last person on the bench. He got some sort of talent to be on an Ohio State football team, okay? I'm not on there. You're not on there. This person has some talent. So he was on Ohio State football team. When you make it to that team or any team that's like top 25 in America playing football, 90% of the time, your goal is what? To graduate and to make it to the NFL. So I'm wondering if that was Mike's original plan was I'm going to play football. I'm good at this and I'm going to go to the NFL. But he never made it to the NFL. A lot of athletes, basketball too, after college, if they don't make it to the NBA, NFL, MLB, whatever it is, now they're stuck. They don't know what to do with themselves. I had a friend who, very good pitcher, was trying his best to get into the MLB, was pretty much lost in life and a lot of things he was doing because he didn't know what to do. All he knew was baseball. I'm not saying this is Mike, but what I'm trying to do is get you into their mindset of that pressure that he probably was feeling, right? Doesn't make NFL, but he's smart. He's really smart. So his backup plan is to be a surgeon. Think about that. Your backup plan could be to be a surgeon. Just think about that. That's your backup plan. Meaning he's smart, right? So him and Monique get married. Reports are saying there was not no money involved in this marriage because Mike wasn't making no money. I heard someone say that Mike was living part-time out of his car before they got married, before she met him or whatever it was. I don't know if that's true, but even reading the divorce papers, Monique had to buy her own ring. There was no income really to separate between these two because there wasn't a lot of money being made. All right. So people are saying Mike is, he's to himself. He doesn't talk a lot. I heard somebody say that after college, he seemed like he got a little more depressed, which would make sense. He didn't get to make it to the NFL. So he marries Monique, right? Then there's people coming out saying that he was controlling. He's controlling. He was controlling Monique. And Monique didn't like it. She wanted to get out. And plus, she was homesick. So what does Monique do? While he's gone away at school or residency, she gets a friend or a family member with a U-Haul, packs all her stuff up in a U-Haul, and they take off. They don't tell Mike. Don't tell him. So Mike comes. What does he see? Empty house. He just got abandoned again. He got abandoned by his parents. Then he just got abandoned again by somebody he supposedly loves and marries. Now, this is no excuse for what he did. But people keep saying why he waited so long. I'm just trying to take you into that dark place where he probably was at, okay? And the only reason, because I've been around. When I was locked up, there's so many people that are locked up in prison or in jail. So many of them are in there because they got stuck in this dark place and they just can't get out of it. Nobody's handed this person a flashlight and showed them the path. So they're just stuck in this dark place and it gets darker and darker. And it's like no matter what they do, they just can't get out. So, after a while, they just say, F it. This is what I'm going to do. Well, she leaves him and he's like, what the hell? There's somebody even said that he told Monique when he gets his first sign-on bonus, because I guess doctors get a sign-on bonus. I didn't know that to this case. He he said once he gets his first sign-on bonus, which is supposed to be, I guess, $50K, he was gonna buy the house next door to her. I guess he didn't, right? But that's what he told her. Well, they get divorced, and after a while, now you gotta think about all three of these people went to the same school, Ohio State, right? So then what does Monique do? Monique goes and gets with Spencer Tepe, who also went to Ohio State. Spencer is also a doctor, but he's a dentist. They get married. They have 2 children, a boy and a girl. They get a nice, beautiful house back in the hometown of Columbus, Ohio. And you don't think Michael sees all this? You don't think Mike is blind to this? I heard that Monique still was friends with some of the friends that Michael knew, because they went to the same school. So you don't think if that's the case, some of these people were like, hey, Mike, you heard about Monique? She married Spencer. Spencer from Ohio State too. People do that. And they probably are not. And you know what the thing is? They don't do it to cause harm. They didn't know all this was going to happen. They do it to be like, yeah, because people just like talking, especially about other people, especially, whatever it is. That's how people work. That's what they do. They talk about other people. We know this. Okay. We know this. And don't act like you don't do it either. But we know this. But now he's sitting here like, man, he's probably like, that should have been me. Spencer should have been me, So I could see that. I could see him doing this stuff. And then we read these court documents of the divorce. And y'all remember that one document I showed you guys with the custody hearing, whoever it is? Supposedly that was a clerical error. I don't know. Nobody can figure out. I even saw this on major news networks. Now the major news networks are bringing up the court documents. And they even brought up this custody hearing, and they don't even know what it's about. I heard it was a clerical error. I'm not sure. I even saw a comment of somebody saying Mike could have did this to try and get her address. And you know why? Because in those court documents, it does say that there's a new hearing, right? And it was for in June, then another hearing in September. Okay, September 28th, if I remember correctly. It does say that each person got mailed the new court date. Because if there's a court date, you got to get that court date, right? Or you don't know to show up. So they got to mail it to you, which means they got to do an address update. So some people were saying that maybe Michael did that to try and get her address, which could make sense because I told you guys before, their address spiked on Google Trends in October and November. So that's only a month away. He can't get the address to the court. Let me go on Google and try and find it. I mean, it could be possible. Monique's name was not on the house. Now, some people could say bad credit, things like that. But some people say maybe Monique was trying to keep her address hidden from him because he was controlling. From him because he was scared or she was scared. Okay? She even said if anything happens to her, Mike did it. She said that. If anything happens to her, Mike did it. When the family first found out what happened to both of them, the family had no doubt they knew about Mike. They knew it was Mike. It's coming out now that they knew it was Mike from the start. So when they made those 911 calls from the dentist's office, okay, it makes me wonder. Because if you remember, there was one thing that was said from the owner. The owner said, the wife is not answering the phone. And he made it seem like because she wasn't answering the phone, it's a big deal. So I'm wondering if they were warned. If Mike and, And Monique told them, hey, if I don't come to work one day, this is probably could happen. That's a tough conversation to have with people, right? If something happens to me, this could happen. But I'm wondering if he warned them, and that's why they were so calling the police, going there, and going in the house. Okay? People were wondering how now Alex is the one who found Spencer on the ground. His name is Alex. People were wondering how Alex saw him on the ground. People are like, how did he see? Isn't the because Spencer was in his bedroom. Isn't the bedroom on the second floor? Alex was actually in the house. If you listen to the whole 911 call, the whole 911 call was put out by Plunder. Okay. Shout outs to Plunder. You're doing good. Doing good. Maybe one day we can get something going. Go follow her. But the whole 911 call was put out by Plunder. Okay. And if you really listen, okay, really listen to it, he was inside the house. Because there's one point, I believe, at one point he tells the kid, come down, meaning the kid was like on top of the stairs or something, and you hear steps. All right. He was inside the house. So how did he get inside the house? Was the door already open? Because Mike picked the lock? Mike opened the door? Whatever you want to call it. Because we all know the police went to the wrong house to begin with when they did their follow-up, right? Went to the wrong house. This whole time, did he hold this grudge this whole time? And it just festered on him. And it just ate at him. And he was planning this for a while. And was like, you know what? I'm just going to take this out. I'm just going to do this. Hopefully we'll find out soon. Now, the next thing is, do you think he's going to take this to trial? Let me know below. Do you think he's going to take this to trial? Do you think he's going to try and beat this? What do you think? You think he's going to try to beat this? And you think they're going to ask for the DP, the penalty on him? I like to hear you guys' comments because I respond to all the comments, or not all of them, but I try and respond to, that I see, and then the ones I read, if they're good information, hey, I mention them and I talk about that or whatever, right? You guys let me know. And do you think it was because he held this grudge this whole time? I mean, we just had the MIT situation, right? Massacre. That guy held that grudge. They said, what was it, 20 years, 25 years? 25 years he held that grudge against the college and the professor he, offed. So if that guy can do it, Mike can do it too. And like I said, there's no excuses for what he did. None at all. This man need to get hands, feet put on him, all kind of stuff. I'm a firm believer. And I don't care. I have no filter. I'm a firm believer. Whatever you do to somebody should be done to you. That's just me. Take it how you want it. But that's just me. If you do something to somebody like what he did, go do that to him. But hey. But let me know what you guys think, okay, on the situation. And did he really get arrested at Chick-fil-A? Like I said, I really believe he got followed. I believe that to the T. He got followed. Okay? But at Chick-fil-A, all places, and he's a vascular surgeon. Speaking of vascular surgeon, this is how smart this guy is. This is how smart he is. I knew there's levels to being a doctor, right? Just like there's levels to everything. It's like some people say, it's not rocket scientists, right? It's not brain surgery. There's levels to certain things. So I want to see how hard it is to be a vascular surgeon, how smart he actually is. So I Googled it. It says vascular surgery is considered one of the hardest surgical professions due to its demanding training, 7+ years. High stakes emergencies like ruptured aneurysms, okay? And then it goes on to say it's long hours or frequent emergency calls. High patient acuity, often involving complex diseased vessels and critical limb salvage, making it technically challenging and mentally taxing. Mentally taxing. So this guy graduates college, doesn't make it to play football. I'm going to be a backup doctor. I'm just going to be a surgeon. Becomes a vascular surgeon, one of the hardest ones you can do. Has to go to school for 7+ years. He's at residency, probably studying nonstop, broke, ain't got no money. Your girl got to buy her own ring because you can't buy one for her. And you probably scared she gonna leave, which she did. And you lost, don't know what to do. Ain't never been the same since. I read a book a long time ago, really quick. I read a book a long time ago. And it gave some facts about surgeons, nuclear science engineers, some people in tech field, things like that. These people are used to having control. If you think about it, surgeons, right? They got to have control over their situation. They got to have control over their hands, the tools they use, their assistants inside. Hand me this. They got to have control. Nuclear science, you got to have control over, what you're doing. Tech, you got to have control over what you're doing as well. I've heard these people are so used to having control that when it comes to real life relationships, they don't know how to have control the right way. They do it the wrong way. So I don't know if that's the case, but it could be. Please like and subscribe. Take care of one another. Check the links below. Fugitive gear. All right. Books coming out soon as well about my life. Rare Redemption. Hey, Fugitive TV. Take care of one another. I'm out.